Welcome to this Facebook Live, and welcome on the topic of how to build more confidence or trust in yourself. Now, when I talk about confidence or trust, and I'm looking at Facebook, I'm looking at Insta right now, I'm talking in the category of finding your passion. That's really what the whole crux of this is. It's about how to take your passion and turn it into a profession. Now, wherever you are in the spectrum of taking your passion and turning it into a profession, whether you're in the beginning stage, where you're on the journey, whether you've really made it, created the profession, and now you're looking for an evolution from that, wherever you are in the journey, the number one thing that builds confidence in thinking to yourself, do I make a leap towards doing something I've never done before? Do I doubt myself? Do I create indecision in myself? All those things that kind of eat at you. When you're presented with a choice, when you're presented with a decision, your confidence, whether to go forward or whether to stay back, is based on how much confidence you have in yourself. And let me tell you what eats away all of our confidence. And this is advice to myself and to you. The number one thing that eats away from our confidence is our inability or our lack of following through with commitments. Here's what I mean by this. You're supposed to be meeting your friend for coffee at 3 o'clock and you turn up at 3:30. You're supposed to be going out for a meeting and it's supposed to be at 2 and you end up getting there at 2:10. You're supposed to wake up every morning at a certain time, but you don't do it. You said you had a commitment to go and meet with your parents or to meet with a friend, and you didn't follow through with it because you had something else to do. Every time we don't follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, like meeting a friend versus a meeting versus, serving our parents, whatever the commitment is, if we don't follow through when we say we're going to do it, what that does is it breaks our level of muscle, our confidence muscle in ourself. And it doesn't happen straight away. How it happens is over time, like the frog boiling in a hot pot. The frog doesn't feel it kind of simmering when it gets hot. It gets hot over time, and then it feels the heat and it jumps out. It's the same thing with our confidence and with our trust muscle. Is that every time that we don't stick to an agreement with ourselves that we have made with someone else or with ourselves, when God then gives us a decision, an opportunity, now we start to and ah, I don't know whether I should do it. I don't know if I can do it. Is it the right time? Am I in the right frame of mind? Do I have enough skill sets? Am I too old? Am I too young? Am I too tall? Am I too whatever it might be? Those kinds of thinking start to take over the mind, and that is all because in the past we haven't been able to commit to the little things that now create the bigger deal for us right now. So let me give you an example. Just recently I was asked to participate in a community in our community locally, a volunteering community, and I would absolutely love to participate. And what I said to the lady when she asked me was that I would love to, but because of my work commitments, I know that they have meetings every week, for example, and I can't get to the meetings every week. And so I said, look, I'm happy to put my hand when I'm in town and when I can help out, anything like that. But for me to be a permanent official member of the community committee, I just can't, because it just won't be fair for you guys, because there'll be someone coming in and out. And she said, okay, no worries. Then I see her again and she says to me, listen, I've thought about what you've said, and that's okay. You just come whenever you can come. You don't have to come all the time. We get it. We will make that compensation for you, but we'd still like you to join the committee. And I kind of felt at this point, and she's an older lady than me, and, trying to be respectful for elders. And I kind of felt guilty or felt like it wasn't right for me to say no again. And so I kind of said, okay, I'll go with it, in as much way I can. Then I'm driving home that night and I say to my husband, Sean, I say to him, I don't think it's in my gut. I know I can't commit to it, even though she has said to me that I can make a dispensation for you. You don't have to turn up to all the meetings. We get where your work is and you're very tied up with that, and you can only give us what you can, but we'd still like you to be part of the team. And I said, I think the team needs someone committed. I think it's not fair for the team, and it's really like, it doesn't feel right for me to kind of be half committed to something, even though they say okay. I don't think it's okay. And so it's kind of eating at me. I'm starting to feel guilty. I'm starting to feel guilty that I'm not going to be able to make it to these meetings. I'm not going to be able to contribute to the best I can. It's just going to be taking up time, their time. And there's all these thoughts are coming into my head. And then the next time I see this lady, like about a day later, I see her and I said, listen, and it was hard for me to say no, because remember, I'm trying to, it's the disease to please. You know, I'm trying to make someone happy. And I said, listen, I have to let you know that I can't commit. I simply cannot commit. Even though you've given me the dispensation that I can come when I want and go when I want and meet up when I can. But I think for me right now, the committee needs someone committed to just take it off the ground. And for one member to be kind of in and out, it's not fair on you and it's not fair on me. And so she accepted that. And here's why I'm sharing that. Simply because I know that my level of commitment is based on how my future decisions are going to be made. So if I'm kind of in and out of this, and it's each their own. Someone could have taken that decision and gone, yes, I'm happy with that. And that's fine too. There's no right and wrong. It's all about where you fit into your decision making and how you align with that decision. For me, it didn't align with me. For you, it might, and that's fine too. But for me, I couldn't align with that. And because I couldn't align with that, I had to tell her no. And therefore, it meant that I just have my trust back in myself, that I'm not going to spread myself thin, that I have to be able to focus on the tasks at hand, to give the tasks at hand full and 100% execution, effort, commitment. And what that does is 1 week from now, 1 month from now, 1 year from now, these little decisions build and build and build. Look at the muscles, right? You know, we're all working on it. These muscles get built, and they're trust muscles, they're confidence muscles. So that when God gives an opportunity to go path A or path B, we're not doubting our commitment, because that's really what a confidence issue is. When you kind of straddle behind, and when you kind of stagnate, and you think of all the decisions that you have had been, it's been difficult for you to make a decision. If you think about it, it's really about your own trust in yourself. You just didn't know whether, because the decision was on you. Well, what if it doesn't work out? What if it like just goes haywire? What if it does work out? But really, what if it doesn't work out? And then you tend to err on the side of what if it doesn't work out? And it's really why you err to that side is simply because there's no trust in yourself, or very little trust. And so the remedy to build trust, and this is advice for both myself and yourself, because it's an ever growing, everyday personal development growth. It's not just one day. Like I did that, but then there are other ways that I have to work around myself, like in terms of my fitness. I've kind of, ever since Ramadan, I've stopped exercising, and not that I've stopped full-heartedly. I know in the back of my mind I've got to go, but I haven't even put it down on paper how often I should exercise, because I know once I write it, I better commit to it. Otherwise, once I say something, because your word is everything to yourself, and if I don't follow through, then when the opportunity comes, where opportunity is everywhere, but when I have to make a really hardcore decision, it's going to be that much more difficult to make it, because I haven't built the reference, the evidence of my own capacity and capability. Now, obviously, we put the effort in, we do the work, and the result is with God. Like that's a given, right? We can put 100 hours in, we can put all the resources in. At the end of the day, our effort is our effort, and the result is with God, whether it works or doesn't. I'm talking about the human capability of just trusting yourself, of knowing that if there's an opportunity being given for you, where there's a gut reaction of yes or no, the trust or the confidence should never be at an issue. And if it is, it's because that you haven't built that muscle to trust yourself. And how do you build it? Is you constantly are very aware of the commitments that you make, minor and major. You're constantly conscious of it. And what you're doing is you're keeping to your commitments. If you say you're going to visit a friend, then you visit a friend. Yes, there are extenuating circumstances, for sure. But don't make extenuating circumstances a common excuse. Don't make it an excuse because X happened or Y happened, because people will always have excuses why they are late. And it's the same people that are late all the time. And it's a habit. It's a lack of discipline, it's a lack of focus, and that's what it shows. And that lack of focus and discipline trickles to all areas of our life, because how you do one thing, especially when it comes to commitment, how you do one thing is how you do everything. That there's a book by that title, by the way. I haven't read it, but it pretty much makes sense. If you're a committed person, I mean, no one's perfect. There will be times when areas of our health is lower than versus areas of our professional life versus areas of our uh, personal life, so on and so forth. But the major goal here is what the major lesson, the message that I'm trying to get across is that confidence is situational. You might be confident driving a car because you've done it for a long, long time, but get up in front of speaking in front of a group of people, now your confidence kind of wavers, it kind of wanes. You just don't know whether you can, what to say, how to say, because confidence is situational. It depends on the situation. However, decision making, confidence in decision making and trust in yourself, because that's what confidence is, just trust in yourself. Another word for it is belief in yourself, right? So trust in yourself and confidence in yourself when it comes to your passion. And what is passion? Passion is a set of opportunities that are presented to you, a set of decisions. Every step towards your passion or distancing yourself from your passion to turn it into a profession is a set of decisions that you need to make. And how in our humanly realm on earth, how fast we accelerate or how fast we regress is purely based on how much we can trust ourselves to go with what decision we want to make. If we sit on a decision for too long, if we make it too fast, it all depends on exactly what your level of trust is in yourself. Did you make the right decisions in the past? And every single human being, I'm sure, has made an incorrect decision at least once in their life, if not 50 times. But the point is, the more decisions you make, the more you can follow through with them. That's how you build it. That's how you build your muscle. And I'll just give you a final example. I committed to broadcasting for my podcast, Unbox Your Gift, How to Turn Your Passion into a Profession podcast. I committed to broadcasting a interview Monday to Friday, content Monday to Friday. And what happened was that the last 10 days of Ramadan hit, and I started to get very involved in what was needed to do for Ramadan. And I pretty much didn't keep to my commitment of uploading interviews. And what I realized was that is a tall tale sign of me kind of lowering the standard. Because, well, then I should have made a commitment in the beginning that when I should have said to myself, when Ramadan comes and the last 10 nights hit, then I'm going to make a conscious decision to just not. But I didn't make that conscious decision, right? I should have prepared myself. But because I hadn't, I kind of fell back about 5-6 episodes, approximately. And so what I did as soon as Ramadan finished is I just started going back into the podcasting and realigning and uploading and editing and getting into the podcasting scene of doing it, and to hit my numbers of where I should be after that month, after Ramadan, or at the end of this week, which is episode 40. And the reason I share it with you guys is because I'm trying to hold myself to the standard. So it's a work in progress. I myself am a work in progress. And I'm sharing it with you to be really transparent, because we're all trying to, but I know we're all trying to create the level of trust and confidence in our decision making. But I also know that, it's the self-awareness that's going to allow us to build the muscle. The self-awareness of not going, no, I can't, it's okay, no one's going to notice, really. People do know, nobody has to notice. Here's the point. Nobody has to notice. You notice. And when you make a decision, you can ask for everyone else's opinion. But at the end of the day, it's your decision, it's your responsibility, and you've got to feel okay with it. And the way to feel okay with your decision making is just know. I mean, I've been interviewing people from all walks of life on the podcast. And one of the things that I'm seeing emerge as a pattern in all of my interviewees and all the guests that I'm having, one of the major patterns that I'm seeing is their ability to make a decision is pretty lightning fast speed. And it doesn't mean lightning fast speed is how you should make a decision. It just means they trust their decision. And why do they trust their decision? Because they have evidence behind themselves from a day ago, a month ago, a year ago, that they do put their best foot forward with their commitment. When they say they're going to do something, they don't fall short of that. They don't kind of call someone and say, do you really need this? Because, you know, if you don't really need it, I could do X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Like trying to weasel your way out and create an excuse for yourself. Let me end with this example. Monica Viella. Monica Viella was one of the interviewees on the Unbox You Give podcast, and she came out to Australia as a Polish, not to Australia, sorry, to America as a Polish immigrant, grew up on a farm, not very well off in Poland. She came to America and said she was walking in a shoe store. So she's walking in a shoe store and she's realizing how cheap all the shoes are. And she's picking up this shoe and looking at the price and that shoe and looking at the price and going, oh my goodness, my friends in Poland would absolutely like go nuts over these prices. But I'm going to buy some and I'm going to send them back to Poland. So she buys a few shoes and she takes them home and she thinks to herself, well, hang on a second, it's going to take some time for them to be sent to Poland, but let me check, you know, let me go on eBay and see if anyone's selling these kinds of shoes on eBay. So she goes on eBay, the Polish equivalent to eBay, and she finds that no one is selling shoes at those kinds of prices. So she puts about 5 shoes online and she sells them all. I said that really slow, didn't I? Online, and she sells them all. So she sells them all. She goes, this is amazing. So she goes, buys more shoes, puts them online and sells them, and buys more shoes and puts them online and sells them to people in Poland. And then she kind of thinks to herself, well, hold on a sec. The shoe shop, they have a manufacturer, a supplier who gives them the shoes, then they mark it up and they sell it to me, the consumer. Why don't I go directly to the manufacturer, to the supplier? So she goes to the shoe store and they say, could you please tell me who your supplier is? They say, no. Of course. So then she goes to another shoe store. Can you tell me who your supplier is? No. So nobody would give their suppliers' names or details to Monica. So I said to her, so how the hell did you get suppliers to supply you shoes if you didn't know who to contact? And here's a level of decision making, you know? Here's where someone might go, I'm not going to do this. Maybe it's stupid. This is what Monica did. Excuse me for a second while I take a sip of water because I'm about to cough. I just hit my tooth while I did that. Anyway, so she's out and she gets an idea, okay? So no one's giving her the details of the suppliers. She goes to the rubbish dump where the shops are dumping their used up boxes and stuff that they don't need. And that's where she finds the name of the suppliers at a rubbish dump. She's going through the rubbish bins. Now, here's where decision making comes in. This is a lesson for me. This was a huge lesson for me. I thought to myself, my God, if I was in her shoes, would I go as far as going to a rubbish dump to look for the supplier names? Because maybe my mind would play with me and think, okay, Rita, you're crazy. Okay, Rita, this is really stupid. This is quite dumb. Are you for real? You're going to go into a dump. They don't want to give it to you. So why would you go and, but here's what Monica did, okay? Seriously, because this is all decision-making, trust and confidence in yourself, right? So Monica, she's an immigrant in a country. She's a female. She doesn't know English. She couldn't even write an email in English, she said to me in the interview. And she's like, well, what have I got to lose? Because the decision all throughout her time, she came to America with nothing, like literally not even English. And she was saying, well, I've made the hardest decisions. So let me just go and find the supplier's name. So she gets the supplier's names. She contacts the supplier. And now she's getting shoes to sell on her online shop. She now created an online shop. But here's where it gets even more interesting, okay? This is all decision-making and building confidence, right? In our own decisions. So one day, so she's now got a successful online business. So it's fast forwarding a while, and she's opened up her own website. She's selling shoes online because she's got a supplier name who she found through the rubbish dump, and it's all good. So one day she's in Chicago and she's walking along, and one homeless person has held up a sign that says, I need shoes. And Monica thinks to herself, well, I've got shoes. I've got like a whole room full of shoes, but I've only got women's shoes. I don't have men's shoes. It was a man who was holding up the sign. And so Monica goes over to her office space, her manufacturer's place, and tries to find something that she can give to the homeless man. Finally, finds something, and by the time she gets to the homeless man is gone. Once again, this is about decision making and building confidence and trust. And so she thinks to herself, well, the homeless man is gone. I mean, that's my opportunity. Hello. I think it's Francesca. Hello. So she's thinking to herself, well, what do I do now? How do I actually get in contact with this man? And here's where the decision making, once again, this is where decision making counts. She goes home and gets the idea, how can I really help people? People like him who just needed shoes. And she goes into her apartment where she has all the stock of her shoes. She gets a box and she starts printing out pamphlets. And the pamphlets say, on these pamphlets, they say, once you take out your shoes, so she's going to be able to now sell these shoes to someone. They receive the shoes in a box. When they open the box, they're going to see this pamphlet, which says to them, if you don't need anything in your home, blankets, sheets, shoes, clothes, whatever, if you have something you don't need, please place it in this box. And there's a self-addressed sticker in that box that they put on top of that box itself. They put it into the letterbox and it gets shipped out to the nearest charity. And that came from a decision of seeing a homeless person with a sign that says, I need shoes. Now, her organization called Give Back Box, which is the whole premise of it. You get a box, you've bought something, you get a box, you take the goods out of the box that you've purchased. There's an empty box rather than just throw it back into landfill. She's saying, whatever you don't have or you don't need that you have in the house, put it in, put the lid back on. There's a sticker inside the box, stick it on the box, put in the letterbox, and now it's you are actually doing good for the world. Now, here's what's amazing about that. She made a decision to help that homeless person. She could have thought, well, who am I to help him? Well, what could I possibly do? Is there anything I can do? I don't think so. Like, there's so many homeless people in the world. Well, guess what? She says to me in the interview, she has people, companies, not even people, companies like Amazon, Nordstrom's, huge big corporates who are now working with her and implementing Give Back Box. And by the way, that's how she makes her income. She's created her impact, her influence, and her income with Give Back Box. She stopped with the online shoe business and she's now doing Give Back Box full time. But that's an example. That's a real true example of how decision making really affects, because if she did not trust herself, if she felt like, well, who am I? I'm not confident, like, I don't know if I can. But because she had evidence behind herself, she came to a country, she got over that fear of immigrating to a country, knowing nobody, not knowing any English. It's all decisions. She's built this confidence. She's built up this trust in herself. So when God presented that opportunity of seeing a homeless man, it was like, I could help. I could help. And boy, did she help. So now the corporates, people like the Amazon and, the big companies who she's now affiliated, pay her to be amongst this thing called Give Back Box, which is how she makes her income. Go listen to the interview because she explains it a lot better, because it's her life, her journey, the way she's turned that passion into a profession. But go ahead and listen to it. But my point in sharing Monica's story with you is that it's all about this muscle of decision making. And at the end of the interview, I believe I asked her, what are you going to do next? She goes, I'm getting pretty comfortable. I think I need to move to like Japan or China, somewhere where I don't know the culture, I don't know the language. Can you see how confident, how much trust she has in herself, that she wants to start back? Because that's how her muscle is being built. She's no longer has any trust issues in her own decision making. Good or bad, she will find a way. And that's what it takes. And that's my biggest aha from Monica Viella when I interviewed her, and the Give Back Box organization that she's created, and she's launching in Australia very soon. So if that's something that resonates with you, go listen to that interview. It's the Unbox Your Give podcast. It's Monica Viella, spelled with a W, pronounced Viella. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. All the Polish people in the world. And go listen to it. So wherever you are in your journey of your passion, turning that into a profession. Know that if you have lack of trust, if you have lack of confidence in yourself, it's number one, it's situational. Confidence and trust is situational. Number two, it can be remedied. Number two, all you need to do is start looking at what you're committing to, the decisions that you're making. What are you not following through? Whether it's minor or major, it matters. It truly matters. Because once you can take your time seriously, once you take the commitment seriously, you will then be able to take your trust in yourself and the confidence in yourself a lot more seriously. So when an opportunity is presented, you're not going to and ah and sit on it. You're going to be more confident and trusting of yourself to accelerate or stand behind, but you'll be confident in your decision making. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So I think it's very worthwhile, especially when we're navigating this terrain called our passion and turning it into a profession. I better rock it up because it's now approaching 26, 27 minutes now. If you've got any questions, guys, I'd love to hear your questions. I do these lives because I want to share the insights that I have on turning your passion into a profession. My intention is that it helps, it adds, it creates, it fulfills some need that you're looking for. That's the real intention behind it. And I pray that it comes to you at a time where what I'm saying, what I'm sharing does actually truly assist with where you're going in your journey, whether it's in the corporate world or it's in the passion field world, in the passion project world. Wherever that is, wherever you are on the spectrum, it's irrelevant. What is relevant is your progress, is your fulfillment, is you adding value so that you know that your work and your life is of importance to yourself and those around you who need what you do. If you find what I share in these videos, the content, if it has helped you and you know it even will help someone else, then please go ahead and share it and spread the intention of where this video is coming from, so that not only can we benefit individually, but we can benefit collectively. Because as I always say, it's the domino effect. When you're succeeding, when you're happy, and someone else sees that success and happiness and fulfillment around you, then someone else is inspired. What does inspire mean? To breathe life into. Is inspired, is given the breath of life to be a success, to see the possibilities around them, to be able to see more than what's in front of them, to see beyond the current limitation. And then once someone else is able to see beyond limitation, then someone else can do it, and someone else, and it becomes a trickle-on effect. And then you are the catalyst. You are the catalyst for change, for simply sharing and changing the energy of the planet, because you're sharing what's of value to people versus what is of absolute disillusion to people. So if you've found this helpful, then please, by all means, go ahead, like it, go ahead and share it, and I'll catch you very soon on the next live. Have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.